Russell, in a previous video, you used the word SofaSnipers for people criticising you on websites like Property Industry Eye and Estate Agency Today. What do you think to those people?
Criticism's fine. I'll take criticism. You know, I work with the board of directors for long enough to know that you have to be thick-skinned and you have to take criticism. I guess that the issue, not that I particularly give a toss, frankly. I guess the issue with Property Industry Eye and Estate Agent Today's commentators is that they're anonymous. The majority of them are, you know, they're sitting there with a metaphoric bag over their head. I think if you haven't got the guts or the courage to kind of put your head above the parapet, don't snipe at someone that does. And I have done nothing but put my head above the parapet, as you well know, for the last few years. I wear my heart on my sleeve, I tell you how it is. And when you've got, you know, PB197 and X-Ray Man and, you know, all sorts of other weird and wonderful anonymous labels sniping at you from the sideline. So of course what you can't then do is go back to them and say, well, hang on a sec, let's look at your reviews, shall we? Let's look at your business history. Let's look at your staff ratings on Glassdoor and so on. Of course, you don't then have the ability to level the playing field. So look, I don't take those comments very seriously, and I don't think, to be honest, from the comments I've had from dozens and dozens of people that have been very supportive of me over the last few weeks, I don't think any right-minded person in the industry characterises the industry's opinion by 5 or 6 anonymous, you know, snipers.
Have you not set
basically nothing more keyboard warriors?
Have you not set yourself up, because as a PR whore, you know, you're all over the bloody place. If there's anything, I even wrote an article about you in October.
It was and I think parts of it were even complimentary.
It was mostly complimentary. I said there's some of the things I don't agree with the subjects, but I certainly agree with the way you're doing it.
Yeah.
Because it almost seems to be, if you don't mind me saying, you seems to be the focal point of people's vitriol on the online agents, and now you've failed. Everyone's going, ha ha ha, the end of online, it's the end of online.
Do you think they really think that? That because Hatched was closed and because eMoov has now failed, people honestly think that that means that there's no need to worry about transforming the industry?
I genuinely believe...
That's really fucking naive.
I know, I do. I think they've won the battle, but they ain't won the war.
No, for sure. And actually that kind of accidental fake complacency, look, I'll go back to what I was saying in 2010-11. This industry is going to change. Now, I might have tried to change it too far over here for all sorts of reasons. The money we spent on marketing, the fee we were charging and so on. That doesn't mean, though, that the consumer's not changing their approach and their attitude. It doesn't mean that you don't need to have 850 branches anymore at massive increase in cost in rent and rates and people. You know, it doesn't mean that marketing hasn't changed. We're now a digital marketing consumer.
But do you think with eMoov, if you'd have spent less time doing PR and more time spending in the business, you'd have been more of a success?
No, not true. PR takes no time at all. Most of the radio stuff I do is either on the phone for 5 minutes or it's, you know, chatting to Julia Hartley Brewer at 6 o'clock in the morning. So no, that would be a ludicrous proposition.
Okay.
And look, PR, I can tell you. Let me tell you how underrated PR is generally, and particularly in the estate agency industry.
Well, it's you.
What? It's not all me.
Well, no, but
one or two other people do get a word in sometimes.
Well, it's Henry Pryor.
Yeah.
You.
Yeah. Kate Faulkner.
Love Kate Faulkner.
Yeah.
Love her to bits.
Yeah. And there might even be 1 or 2 others. No. It's
there is an opportunity there, though. Isn't there?
The PR doesn't take loads of time. You know, we had me and 1 person doing PR. So we would create the ideas, we would write the content and distribute, and we ended up with between 1,800 and 2,000 pieces of coverage for eMoov on an annual basis. You know, I do radio, I mean, last year 75, 80 times, I guess. The supposition that it's time consumptive to the distraction of everything else is wrong, because it doesn't take much time at all, because it kind of just rolls. You just, you know, I mean, Anna White from the Telegraph or Louisa Fletcher from the Express might ring me on the way home. It'll take me 4 or 5 minutes, if that, to give them a quote, and that appears in the Telegraph and the Express the next day. But the consequence is, this is what I think the industry perhaps should wake up to, is that Look, PR is not only massively underrated because you're not paying for it on a coverage basis. It's not like an advert that you're having to pay £1,000 for a full page in the Gazette or £10,000 for a full page in the Daily Mirror or whatever. You generally will pay a retainer, and then you get, hopefully, if you can use a decent agency, you'll get lots and lots and lots of coverage. But PR then will grab attention, drive people to your website. So obviously it's acquisitive. But what PR also does, which needs to be understood, it shapes your tone of voice and your positioning as a business. And it's also third-party validation. If the Daily Express are saying something about you, and it's not just in a paid-for advert, then there's a credibility to it.
Well, look at what Savills do. They're the kings of PR, aren't they?
They've got huge research. I mean, look, Savills, Knight Frank and Salt, and they've got dozens and dozens of people effectively in PR, but they badge them as something different. They're research.
It's research department.
But the research is just like when you and I had this little debate, I think, online the other day, didn't we? In terms of this is what you should do in terms of using research and statistics to get coverage.
Yeah.
And I think I replied, it can be summed up in 2 letters: PR.
Yeah.
And that's what it is.
Well, that's
but the other
business.
benefit. So in a sector that is so competitive like estate agency, when ultimately you could have, let's say, I don't know, 35 agents in Walthamstow and 26 in Brentwood and 43 in St Albans, when that consumer in that area is Googling, sell my home Hampstead, value my home St Albans, get my house online, whatever, you can either pay Google hundreds of thousands of pounds a year for the paid ads, or you can use PR to fuel your SEO natural search position, which is what we did at eMoov, which is now, even today, if you Google online estate agents, eMoov was number 1, Teplo was kind of second or third. That SEO was as a direct consequence of what we did with our PR.
Do you know what? We're going a bit off topic now, but hey, that's why we're here. Do you know, if I was running a brand new online estate agency, well, it doesn't necessarily have to be online, but just an estate agency, what I would do is actually create content about each of the town's property market and talk about the property market and what's happening to prices and rents and yields, which is what Savills do. Probably just not some, and probably talk about almost the best of both worlds, because you were very much about the person.
No, I was about the market, so I was asked to comment frequently either on the property.
But why don't you have one person per town?
Well, if
a little Russell in each town.
Well, if you
could clone you.
Perish the thought. Look. So doing, I mean, it's what I call templated PR. We use the same PR release with different data for each area. Yes, of course. But I think the industry just needs to wake up to how really valuable that is.
Well, of course it is, because
everyone's
interested.
If you're doing it and nobody else is, not only do you get that coverage and that authority as far as the consumer's concerned, but it might take 6 to 12 months, but all of a sudden you'll notice that when you're Googling estate agents Chichester or estate agents Gloucester, all of a sudden your business is up there rather than down here.
Well, I've been doing it for 5 years. I ghostwrite articles about local property markets for over 100 agents, and they get 20-30% growth.
Yep.
By talking about the one thing that homeowners are interested in, which is...
But the problem with our industry, of course, is that...
people talk about themselves.
Let me make a generic sweeping statement about our industry. That generally, and obviously this doesn't apply to everybody, so before you have a comment pop up that says, well, I'm not like that, well, of course not everybody is. I'm averaging, I'm being generic.
Go on then.
Most estate agents don't like change, and they don't embrace innovation, and they don't do new things. I mean, that is I've been in the industry 25 years, and my experience of the industry generally, and I know a lot of people in the industry as a consequence of that 25 years, is that it's very, very hard to sell the industry new things.
Well, tell you what, let's talk about that in the next video.